Hello everybody, today we are going to do a tutorial on special right triangles. So the key to special right triangles is finding the pattern and applying it. So we're going to have two different special right triangles. This top one here is a 45-45-90. The bottom one is a 30-60-90. So it just depends on the degree measures from this. Okay, there are many different ways to teach this and learn this. This is going to be the first way, which clicks easiest for me, and I think it's the fastest one that you can do as soon as you get the hang of it. So I would encourage you to focus, and the questions that I ask you should be the questions that you're asking yourself in your head as you're going around this. So I'm just going to do a quick side note over here just to get us warmed up. So if I have four numbers, so let's go with 10. 20, let's go 60, 30, okay? And I try to find a pattern on how to get to each one. All these, what I'm doing here is I'm going to use multiplication, okay? Boom. Okay, so 10 to 20, I would multiply by 2. Okay, 20 to 60, I would times 3. Okay, this should go pretty quick. Now, if I go 60 to 30, now notice the number is getting smaller. It's getting smaller, so I'm going to divide by 2 to get from 60 to 30. From 30 to 10, I'm going to divide by 3. Okay, now I could go the opposite way as well. So like 10 to 30, I would multiply by 3. 30 to 60, I would multiply by 2. 60 to 30, I'd divide by 3. So it's kind of doing the inverse operation to go the other way. Okay, now let's say that I had something like, if I went from 5 to 5 square root of 3. Something like that. Well, 5 square root of 3 is just a number. Okay, so if I put that in my calculator, 5 square root of 3. Okay, it's about 8.66. Okay, so this is about 8.66 if I rounded it. Now this is exact terms here, 5 square root of 3. So if you ever see exact answer, exact, notice how that's not rounding anything. It's like 2/3. Instead of writing 0.66 or 6 repeating or anything, that is the exact answer. Okay, since this is getting bigger, it's going from 5 to 8.6. So see how I have the 5s are the same number, but that's being multiplied by the square root of 3. Okay, so if I'm going back and forth to go from 5 to 5 square root of 3, I'm actually multiplying times the square root of 3 to get there. Okay, so how does this apply? These have a pattern. If both of these are 45 degrees, I'm going to assign a number to the legs that are opposite. 5, 5, and 5 square root of 2. Okay, it will always follow this process. You will also see something like, sometimes you'll see x's. So like this would be x and x and x square root of 2. Okay, I just throw a 5 in there because I think it's easier to understand to go back and forth from there. Okay, so the legs of the triangle, they form the 90-degree angle. Okay, so this 5 and this 5, these are both legs. And the one opposite the 90 is the hypotenuse. Is always opposite the 90 degrees. Okay, so this is the hype. Okay, so then whenever I'm doing these, I need to figure out my pattern, and these triangles will always be given to you. Okay, so if I'm going from 5 to 5 square root of 2, my pattern is, since it's getting bigger, okay, if I'm multiplying here, this is going to be times the square root of 2. Okay, if I go this way and I start from the hypotenuse and go to a leg, well, now this square root of 2, it's getting smaller. See how this is going away? So my pattern is I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. Okay, so I have to, step 1 is know where I'm going. Step 2, what's my operation? All right, so I'm actually going to start with this number 4 down here. Okay, so first thing I ask, well, am I given a leg or a hypotenuse? Okay, well, the legs form the 90. This is opposite the 90, so this is the height. So then I ask myself, if I'm going height to a leg, okay, I have to look at my pattern. Well, up here, hypotenuse to leg, this is showing me from my map that I'm going to, whatever this number is, I have to divide it by the square root of 2. Okay, it happens so here, if I have 5 square root of 2, and I take that and divide it by the square root of 2, we should know that, boom, those guys go away. Okay, they just cancel out. That doesn't always happen. That's always a common misconception. So I'm going to take this number, because my pattern tells me to divide by the square root of 2. I'm going to go 18 and divide it by the square root of 2. A fraction is the same as showing division. Okay, from here, I can't have a square root in the denominator, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2. All right, now I have 18 square root of 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2 is actually a square root of 4, because you're multiplying. Then you're going to take the square root of that, it's just 2. Okay, now since both of these are on the outside, I can cancel this. Boom, boom. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So my answer would be 9 square root of 2. And that would be for both of these, because no matter what, these x's, the legs are always the same. The legs are always the same. Okay. Now, let's say I have something like number 3 over here. Okay, this 4, I'm asking myself, hey, what does it give me? Well, it's connected by a 90, so this is a leg. Here's my other leg. This is my hypotenuse. Okay, so I'm going to look back over here. If I'm given a leg, well, the other leg is the exact same. Hey, that's pretty easy. So this is a 4. Okay, and then I look at my pattern. Well, if I go leg to hypotenuse, well, it's getting bigger, so I ask myself, what do I have to do? Am I multiplying or am I dividing? This is multiplication. So I have to take 4 and I have to multiply it by the square root of 2, because that's what my pattern is telling me. It's getting bigger. The hypotenuse is getting bigger if I go from here to here. 4 times the square root of 2, hey, it's already simplified. 4 square root of 2. Boom. That's it. Okay, in number 2 here, all right, I ask myself, label, well, this is formed by the 90, leg, hypotenuse. Okay, hype to leg, I ask myself, will I be multiplying or will I be dividing? Well, let's look back up here. Hypotenuse to leg, I am dividing by the square root of 2. So I take 3 square root of 2 and divide it by the square root of 2. And what do you know? What happens to the square root of 2's? Boom, they gone. Okay, I'm left with a 3 here and a 3 here. Okay, if I look at number 1, connected by a 90, leg, hypotenuse. If that's an 8, if I look back over here, legs are always the same. Follow the pattern, leg to hypotenuse. Going to have to multiply by the square root of 2. So 8 times the square root of 2 is just 8 square root of 2. That would be your answer for x over here, for the hypotenuse. 16 is a hype. I'm going to go to a leg here. Now, notice, hey, this one, if I look at the hypotenuse, that one has a square root. Wait, this one doesn't have a square root. That's okay. This up here just tells you your pattern. Okay? You can't just be like, oh, this one doesn't have a square root, so that means it has to magically appear. No, you always have to follow the pattern. Where is your location? If this is a hype, going to a leg, okay? You have to look back up here. Well, square root of 2, well, this tells me it's getting smaller, so I have to divide it by the square root of 2, no matter what it is. 16 divided by the square root of 2. Sometimes it will cancel out easily, just like this one up here for number 2. This one requires a little extra work, but you have to apply and you have to know what you're doing here. Get this out of the bottom. It's going to look similar to number 4. I'd have 16 square root of 2 over 2, which is 8 square root of 2. Okay, that would be for both of those x's. The last one here, okay, hypotenuse to a leg, just like what we said up here before, okay, it's getting smaller, so I have to divide. 24 square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2. Oh, that one's an easy one. It's just 24 for both of them, for x and y.